Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite Wisconsin-based esports podcast with an Edge VR Arcade and Gamers Lounge twist. This is Patch Notes, Episode 7. How are we both doing? Wolf Clock, Vindy.
Hello.
Hi.
We took a break for a week.
Yeah.
We did.
We had a lot going on,
We had to,
and we were like, okay, we're just going to wait. Also, Titletown is now done, so we're back recording on Wednesdays.
Wednesday
Which is so much nicer for all three of us.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very
Because
Yeah,
recording on Fridays was kind of a pain in the butt. We did that for, I think, 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was
The first 2 weeks we did on Wednesdays, then we did 4 weeks of Friday, and now we're back.
But now we're back. Yeah,
And it's nice.
For your benefit, viewers, because if we're happier,
You're happier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we do a Titletown retrospective?
Oh, we should 100% do a Titletown
Definitely.
retrospective.
Yeah. How was it, guys? Tell me about it.
Well, it was an amazing finale. We had some team shakeups, with the minor bracket.
We had teams playing well above their level.
Really?
Yeah,
So some
actually,
impressive-
Like, everyone
guys being
played up.
dudes,
Everyone played
shout-outs.
up, but yeah, it was ridiculous. So yeah, something like that. So basically, all right. So here's a little bit of the drama, but
Tell me.
not a lot of drama.
Yeah.
So our third seed team had to drop 12 hours
Oh my God.
before. Yeah, third seed.
Wow.
One of the players was just like, "Yep, I'm not going."
He didn't
So-
schedule appropriately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
He said,
he also kind of was just like, "Yeah, I'm just not going. Sorry about that."
Yeah.
So
because he's going to his other thing.
or he just had other plans.
Yeah.
So
But it's not just saying screw this.
so
I'm watching Netflix."
nothing on like the rest of the team. They still came, and they were super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that player is getting a competitive ruling. I've yet to dish that out yet, but I'll be speaking with the player. But that's fine, honestly. So we had to drop third seed, so everyone moved up, and then one spoiler made it through. Like legitimately, they just won their match. The other spoiler did not. And that was a very hype match. It was a 7-game series.
Oh my God. Yeah.
For the best of 7 spoiler bracket.
Wow.
And it was guys being dudes versus Kind of Big Deal. And the difference between the two teams, Kind of Big Deal was the major,
Big dudes.
yeah, Big Dudes was minor. There was
Big
only
dudes.
a 5-point difference between them, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
But and Kind of Big Deal didn't win a single game
Oh wow.
in the entire major. They didn't win a single set. I think they won
Yeah.
2 individual
Okay.
games.
Right.
They didn't win a single set. And guys being dudes went 17-1 in their
God.
in their minor.
Oh my God.
So it was like, oh my gosh, this should be a slaughter. No, it wasn't.
it wasn't
Even just the 5-point difference
Wasn't
between
enough.
those two teams was an absolute banger. Went seven games, I think 2 overtimes or something like that. I mean, it was crazy.
Just to show.
What'd you say? Yeah, they had a
they
7-minute overtime,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
which is insane because a Rocket League match is only 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
That's
But it's just to show
Yeah.
how contrast the major and the minor leagues were.
Yeah,
too.
because you only see the 5-point difference, but they're playing against better teams for the whole season.
Yeah.
They were probably a lot stronger than even that.
Mhm.
Even though they're losing and probably demotivated,
Yeah.
they're leveling up because they're playing against much better talent.
Yeah,
Right.
and if that's what they're going out on, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to lose to the minor bracket.
Right,
You're
yeah,
losing
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole time.
So anyways, that was a crazy series. And then our second seed from minor and our 5th seed from major, which is a much larger gap,
Yeah.
they still wasted the minor team.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
not only was it like a larger gap in seeding, but also the points it went from 5 points difference to like 35 points difference. So
Okay.
it was like if the 5th seed lost, I was probably going to do a little
Yeah.
investigation
Yeah.
because that statistically should not be happening.
Right, right.
But anyways, yeah. So Team Ope was the minor. They didn't make it in, but because the 3rd seed dropped, they were able to make it in.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
which was really cool. And they showed up even with their sub, and they're like, "Yeah, we know we're not running through this, but since it's a double LM, our sub gets to play on stage, and that's what they were.
That's cool.
And they were
really
homies,
cool.
and some of them come to the arcade too. So
sweet.
Like
That's
they were homies. So.
Yeah, and they put some points up on the board.
Yeah. Everyone played like a almost like a tier or two higher. Guys being dudes played like 3 tiers higher.
They did. They won.
They upset.
Wizards.
Wizards.
You're right.
I think it was.
But then they got knocked out.
Speaking of Wizards, they also played way better. Everyone in the stands was just like, where was this team the whole season? They were playing so much better.
Yeah. It's the atmosphere.
I'm telling you, yeah. You either suffer in it or thrive in it, and every one of those teams thrived.
Yeah.
Which is
so
a
lucky.
huge shout out to Titletown for like making that possible for all these players.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people, you guys can find the VOD on Titletown Tech. No, I'm sorry, just Titletown.
Titletown GB.
Titletown GB on Facebook.
Yep.
So you'll see it on Facebook, and go to videos, and you'll see it there.
One thing
we
that's
also
cool,
stream live there.
One thing that's cool while you're watching our video is you can press pause at precisely this moment, and then go open up in another tab this Facebook link to the Titletown.
Yeah,
stream.
absolutely. Yeah, and we'll have it below.
Yeah, right here.
Holy man.
Wow, so abusive.
Yeah.
But anyways, so and then the grand finals didn't really catch me by surprise, especially when the 3rd seed dropped.
Well,
but the rise to get there, was the Molly versus
Midwest
Midwest Malibu versus who is the other team?
I can't think of who
I know their name. It's Loser 2848.
Yep.
And those guys.
Dang.
Sean, what was that team? Nope, that's Wizards.
Yeah.
We had Imp, GOG, Molly.
Team Impact, and
what if you say?
Oh my gosh, it's the
so-and-so-
only team we can't name.
No, what if
That's
it's?
crazy.
What if you say
It's
like
Westy's team.
so and so?
No, that's Geek Lair Gaming.
Geek Lair Gaming. Yeah, they were in the grand finals.
Yeah, but I'm talking the finals before that, the losers finals.
Oh, losers finals.
Molly.
just
it was
say-
Molly. Oh, it was
Midwest.
Molly
It was
versus
Midwest
GOG.
Mally. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Malibu.
Mally was playing very well.
Yeah.
And, for them to make it to semis was a good run for sure. B Winter, also known as B Dubs,
B-dubs.
was a slayer.
He was.
Most individual impactful performance, just absolutely scoring everything on his team.
Yeah.
Had like a flick shot from across the map.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one, Sean? Yeah, that one was crazy.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, I hope he plays in season 3.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Dude,
he said in
went
his interview that he was
off.
going to.
Really?
Yeah.
He was going nuts.
Dang, if I were a viewer of this podcast right now, I would pause and then go watch that interview and then rejoin
sure.
the podcast.
Yeah. We did player interviews for each team.
That's
Yeah,
really
for the
sweet.
captains,
That's really
and we
sweet.
had them roll before their games.
I like that.
Yeah, except
like that a lot.
for C3, the team I'm not naming to protect their identities.
Yeah. It wasn't Remedy's team, was it?
No, Remedy won.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
cool.
So grand finals was Geek Lair Gaming.
Who took the first 2 games off of
Yeah,
Team Impact.
okay, yeah. I was about to get there, and then Team Impact, who went undefeated in Major, so best of the best. They have a top 100 player in Remedy.
Yeah.
Grand finals was almost really kind of scary
Yeah.
because Geek Lair Gaming, who has been challenging Team Impact, and actually took them to 5 games once.
Really?
They almost shut them out.
Huh.
Yeah.
Impact didn't even score 1 goal the first 2 games,
Really?
right?
Second game, I think they did.
Oh, they maybe scored 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
they
first
scored
game,
1.
They shut them out.
Okay.
What, for the first game, they just shut them out.
Yeah, it was like 3.
And I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I look over to Remedy, and he's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this guy choking? And I was
they
doing
were
this.
a little bit.
I was doing this. I was like, out there, just like trying to get him to look over to see me absolutely mocking
And then
him.
he felt your vibes and turned it
He
up.
probably
Well, and then game 3, it was like,
yeah,
oh,
they
okay.
turned it up. I think it was 7-0 in game 3. But
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and then after that, it was like 11-3 or something.
No, it evened out a little
Did
bit.
it?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
maybe it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, in game 3, Remedy's like, okay, guys, all right, let's just
Right.
win.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and then they swept the rest of it. But
Yeah.
I mean, their last 2 were close games.
yeah,
so.
for sure.
Hype.
But
Yeah, it was hype. It was hype.
It was hype. Yeah, it was almost only hype for GLG though, because it was kind of like, wait, what's happening?
Sure. Right.
I was legitimately like, wait, what's happening right now? Like, actually, because like no doubt on Westy, Bloodless, and Kaz, like they're really good players, but I'm just like, what is happening?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you guys seriously about to just sweep Imp? Is Remedy going to be robbed of first place 2 seasons in a row?
It would have been
Because it's kind of nuts.
it would have been fate getting back at him for the Valorant stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big rip.
Yeah, big rip.
Team Impact still wins, right?
Team
They win something.
Yeah.
So
Good
that's
for them.
zesty though. That's zesty
Yeah.
for you.
All right. Well, so this was good news. Should we move on to cripplingly bad news for
Dang,
the whole
sure.
esports scene?
Right. Why not?
Yeah. So
It's just new info, new bad things every couple of weeks now.
I was
wonderful.
mentioning to Forrest when we were in here to Wolf Clock that I really want a segment where we're like trekking through the winter and we're talking about how it's like the esports winter, but pretty soon like the season's going to change and it's going to be nice in esports spring and esports summer.
Yeah.
But then there's like a time lapse and it's just an even worse winter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what's happening right now. So CLG and TSM are basically it seems they're reducing 90% of their staff, only keeping their TSM is only keeping their League of Legends vertical, and CLG is just out.
Yeah. Wait, so TSM's Valorant team is
Out.
Wow.
Only their league vertical is staying.
Wow.
Yep. So TSM used to be the largest esports brand.
Well, they were also TSM, FTX, and they were like the name of big esports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what $200 million that it comes out of thin air and then leaves out of thin air will do to someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's funny how you sign contracts with players that are millions of dollars only based on the sole fact that crypto money came in to save the day. And then no one did any due diligence, not even Riot, who is notoriously picky.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess there's a limit, right? Like,
Right.
Well, you know, Larry
200
David
million
said it
is
was
still
okay.
200 million.
If Larry David says it's okay, it's okay.
I mean, at
So-
the time,
yeah.
nobody saw any signs of
Wow,
bear
nobody
market
there.
recession.
I'm
Yeah.
sure tons of other people were like, "Yo, this is not a
Yeah.
good idea."
Yeah.
When does that? When does that dude's book? What's the not the Moneyball guy, like the Big Short guy who wrote the Big Short?
Oh, yeah. Michael.
I can't
Lewis?
remember.
No.
No.
Oh, who wrote the book or
Yeah.
the guy? That's
No,
Michael
Oh,
Burry.
I
Michael
thought you
Burry
were
is the
no,
guy, the financial.
the author.
Oh, I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea.
Okay, well that dude was with his like most recent project. It was like kind of quiet. I think it's Michael Lewis actually.
Are you saying the director or the guy who wrote the book?
The guy who wrote the book.
Oh, okay.
He's like an investigative
Yeah.
journalist, sort of. Michael Lewis. Yeah, let's go.
Let's
I
go,
like Sean.
Michael Lewis.
Let's go, Michael Lewis. Anyway, it came out. So you know he does these projects. He gets in really deep. So for like The Big Short, or for I think he did Moneyball too, right? Like he would get these in-depth interviews and spend long periods of time with these people. And his most recent project, he was keeping it really under wraps. And then when SBF hit the fan, it was revealed that Michael Lewis's big project that he was working on was FTX. That he was on the inside, just like in the room
Yeah.
with SBF for all of these weeks and just paying attention and picking up everything. So I'm really excited for whenever that drops. That's going to be juicy.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It'll be the esports, well, the crypto
Yeah.
Big Short.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Another thing that, I don't know how many people know, but like TSM and CLG are also like had the biggest rivalry in NA.
And so it's just a
And so like it was so cool because the rivalry was there. It turned out to not really be a rivalry. TSM just started winning everything for like years and years and years
Really?
between the two.
Yeah.
But the two owners, Reggie and Hotshot, were super rivals against each other. I mean, they would bet massive bets
really.
on individual random games against each other and
Interesting.
shave your head type stuff. Like, yeah, there was a huge rivalry between the two teams.
Well, one of them bet everything on the future of crypto, right?
Yeah, and the other one sold his
Sense.
slot before franchising,
Damn.
so
Damn.
they both got screwed individually.
So, like,
Damn.
a little more on just like how big these organizations are. So, like, I really only understand how big a team is if they are in Overwatch or Valorant.
Sure.
CLG was like long ago. Maybe they had a team in a minor thing that was just
Oh
called
gosh,
like
CLG
something.
is massive.
Okay.
They had teams all over the world. So you had CLG EU, CLG RU. Yeah, I mean you had CLG teams competing in all sorts of disciplines.
CS:GO, Rocket League, Smash League.
Okay.
Their CS team was pretty good.
Yeah.
They used to have an EU League of Legends team that was really good.
And they're storied, right? Like how long was this?
They've been around for a long time.
Wow.
Like
A decade, right?
yeah, a decade.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So they're like it's not just somebody.
They're OGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. My favorite Doublelift, my favorite player. That's his like original home team.
Really?
Yep. CLG.
Same with TSM, right? Like they were team solo mid. They were here forever.
TSM has been around. Yeah. So Team Solo Mid has also been around for about a decade.
Dang.
So yep.
Big players. Like I was so sad about the Guard, but like their organization was only like a few years.
It's a
old.
whisper.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even. That's why I say like whenever I try to explain this to people when they hear about teams like NRG or KT over in Korea, or let's use like Fnatic over in EU or TSM and NA. It's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, I've been following them since League. They're like, oh, they've been around since League. I'm like, they're built from League.
Yeah. Right.
Like the only thing that wasn't built from League would be StarCraft, but StarCraft was always 1v1. You never had you never had like full roster teams.
Right.
So maybe
players were sponsored by.
Yeah, they were sponsored by orgs, but the orgs didn't. They weren't like as big as they are now because they just it was like a solo player. You had like CJ Entis would sponsor one or maybe two StarCraft players. That was it. Like you didn't have academy teams and like amateur scrim teams below them and then full on salaried. Like you just didn't have any of that. So League of Legends has actually paved the way for a lot of other esports because now there's something to copy and there's also an org to pick you up.
Yeah.
And so
Is it a coincidence that these two giants of esports just like come out with this news pretty close to one another, or were they going off of something? Like, were there really big numbers for some really big event that just didn't come through?
I think a part of it is branding. They want people to know that their spots are open for sale.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah. But also, like we talked about in our last episode, 90% of revenue in esports is sponsorships.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if
we're in a recession,
no one wants to sponsor esports right now.
Yeah, right. Because it's such a loss leader.
Yeah, there's no return on it.
Yep.
Yeah, the customers
no one's buying anything.
Aren't buying.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you cut like your couple $100,000 sponsor for like a Smash player who's maybe getting like 600 viewers on Twitch?
Yeah.
Like what is the brand power there? Like, how are you converting anything to money?
And like Faze showed that even if you think you have a lot of brand power.
Well, Faze is totally different.
Oh, okay.
I think Faze is
Faze is content.
Faze is content. It's like, think of Faze in of itself as a Twitch streamer, not as an esports organization.
All right.
Yeah.
I think for anyone to call it like Faze is just like CLG or TSM, it is a fundamental misunderstanding of what Faze actually is. Like most of the big Faze players have 10 million subscribers on YouTube. That's more than all of the League of Legends teams combined. Times 20, I'm sure.
Which is why they were able to go public.
Yeah.
They have such reach.
I have just a small. I was gonna say I equivalent like Faze as an org to like Dude Perfect.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They're a content house.
Dude Perfect.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. They're a content house.
Wait, for any viewers who don't know Dude Perfect, what would
everyone knows who Dude Perfect is? They're like the 10th most subscribed.
So.
Well, if you don't know their name, you know who they are.
No, y'all have a conversation quick while I do some.
Do you know who that is?
Of course not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Dude Perfect are the guys that do all the crazy trick shots.
Yeah.
You've seen them because it's basically impossible to have not seen them on the internet. Yeah. But they do like the crazy like trick shots.
If you're on Facebook,
they have a big old Wikipedia article, so they are big in real.
Yeah.
I think they're in like the top 20 most subscribed channels on YouTube. Brother. Yeah, it's really hard to have not seen anything from them.
The golf thing with the
Yeah, they do like crazy golf trick shots, over the house trick shots.
Yeah,
Crazy.
perfect.
Anyways. But yeah, Faze is a whole other thing.
Faze is. But speaking of Faze, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, can
he's
they
out.
survive
the second time his name's ever been mentioned.
Yeah, on the way in, on the way out.
Dude.
So
it was like Cloud9 pretending to sign LeBron James or whatever the other week.
What's that?
They were like, "Oh,
Cloud9." You said?
Cloud9 like signed LeBron James.
Like a social media.
It was like
yeah.
Oh, it was like
3 days or something, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, we're letting him go."
I mean, it was I think it was TSM that signed Tyler 1.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was Tyler 1's brother.
Oh my god!
And so it was like we're signing the Giga Chad, and so you just have him like sitting there. And, he's like posing just like Tyler and everything. And he looks just like Tyler.
Oh, that was when they did that shadow video? Right?
Yes. Yeah. And it looks
that.
everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's E-Rob 2221. It's like, oh, okay. It's just E-Rob. Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah, they're like, yeah, we signed the alpha, all that type of stuff. And it is his brother.
So they're just trying to. Well, I guess Faze is already a content farm, so they want like more clout with somebody like Snoop. Was he actually on the board of directors?
Yeah, he was listed. Well, it's recognized like an official capacity that he was on the board.
I'm sure he
but I doubt he did
shared
anything.
some insight or maybe made some connections happen. But
yeah, I don't think he did
didn't
anything.
Make any decisions.
I think they're like, wow, we need to sign somebody. Snoop's a gamer. Let's give him 25,000 shares.
Dog though, like share some insight. I mean, like his team. They had access to his team.
To his team.
It's not really the dude. It's the people who made the dude into.
I was watching Moist, and he was talking about how Snoop just left.
Yeah.
The other day, he's like, Snoop, half of Snoop's streams is muted. He doesn't even know how to unmute himself, and he has no one monitoring him to even care.
Oh my god!
And so and nobody, he doesn't read chat either. So he just, he doesn't care.
Yeah, I've seen a couple clips of him raging at Call of Duty and stuff.
Oh yeah. Those are really good. That's good content right there.
That's actually so funny.
But anyways, so yeah, it's just
more winter.
Yeah, I just want to know who's going to come along and actually start making money and how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Or what is a good way for me to spend money? I would love to have team skins, optional purchase team skins in League of Legends.
Right.
So I could support a team. But Riot does it the weirdest ways. So you have tokens, you can buy an icon to support your team.
Yeah, right.
But it's $25
for an icon
or something like that. That might be a little outrageous. I don't remember. It was kind of expensive, I thought, for what it was.
Skin or something.
I retract the $25 statement. It actually doesn't matter how expensive it was. It doesn't matter how expensive it was though, because I'm like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to support my team, but I want to do it in a way that also feels good.
Yeah.
I want a cool ass skin.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
And they only give those to people who win worlds, which is amazing.
Right.
That is super cool.
Right.
But why can't we even have Cloud9 chromas where they just chrome the skin in a color pattern?
I mean, Call of Duty does that where you can buy every team's that's in the league's jersey, and that's
a great way for them to raise revenue.
I see those in Call of Duty.
I've seen them. I've seen them. I can't imagine how many CS:GO Fnatic stickers I've seen. Just amazing.
I have a whole
brand
bunch
awareness.
of Overwatch League skins on my characters.
Yeah,
but I don't see very many other.
Well, and I think that kind of goes into we
also need longer contracts.
Esports.
We need longer. Wait, what'd you say?
We need new esports.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Actually,
no.
We need.
That's not going to fix anything.
We need
We need longer contracts.
I think it will actually.
And we need bottom four. We need
CS2.
We need relegation for bottom 3 teams of any league. And we need to keep franchising, I think. I was just talking about this in the MKE Discord today. The bottom 3 teams in any franchise, if they're bottom 3, 2 out of 3 seasons in a row, they're kicked. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you will see teams being much more competitive with each other on content and things like that. And also, their players will actually have something to fight for.
So that's why Valorant's Ascension system is so appealing.
Yeah, because if you get knocked down to tier 2, at least you don't lose everything.
Not to mention now they're putting in a system in game that allows any Joe
that's really
Schmo
good. That's
to be
really
able to get into those
they're just
Ascension
copying.
tournaments.
There sounds like they're copying Rocket League's format.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And why
innovating
not,
upon
though?
it.
Right. And why not, though? Because
Yeah,
that gives people more reason to grind, and it puts more incentive on actually having teams stay relevant with talent, because if your team gets taken out by the guys that ranked up online,
It's a terrible look. It's a terrible look because that's the old teams of League of Legends. They had maybe a coach. That's it. That's their management staff. That's their overhead. And yet they're still like competing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the cool. That is the differentiator between traditional sports and esports. Anyone can play with a pro.
Yes.
Anyone can. You cannot do that in traditional sports. Doesn't matter how good you are.
Right.
There's a system that you got to follow.
Yeah.
That actively works to weed out people.
Yeah.
And make it. It's
Part
hard.
of it is like the infrastructure that's required for like a new esportsman.
You got to build a stadium.
Yeah, in real sports.
Yeah.
But like also, I'm thinking about this relegation thing, and it's like, well, are we just thinking that like a whole bunch of new teams would? Are we thinking that existing teams would get more competitive in order to keep their spots, or
existing teams would be much more competitive because like you can reward the teams to stay in as well. You can incentivize them to want to stay in, let alone them just losing their branding. But it's like if teams are actually staying in a franchise model, they should be providing more revenue to the league itself, right? So you can then in turn also you can now justify paying them more to like stay in.
I mean, the thought would be that like this saves esports if it ends up bringing in more revenue because
you'll have more people try to play in the collegiate and amateur scene
because they could make it
because they don't have to pay $25 million to get a team spot.
Yeah.
They can come in with their own crew and stuff. Think about like Moist and Disguised Toast and all them. They don't have 25 million, but they probably got 500,000, 1.5 million to throw out a team.
Right.
And if there was a way that they could just come in,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, and that's why they have a team in Challengers, right? That's why they're building a team because they want the potential to get into that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like Mr. Beast, like, and even Double Lift. Double Lift is like the biggest fan of Mr. Beast having a team because he's like Mr. Beast is mainstream. He's normie.
Yeah.
Imagine if he owned a league in which Mr. Beast loves League of Legends. Like, he's huge into it.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. But he keeps on saying he's going to buy a league team.
Really?
But it sounds like Riot might not let him buy a league team.
Not want a normie?
I don't know. I don't know all the background stuff. But like that is a huge thing for Mr. Beast. He wants a League of Legends team. Yeah. I think it's like high plat, low diamond. It's like,
crazy.
Yeah.
It makes sense. He's a smart dude.
One sad thing on the like relegation ideas front is that Overwatch has been having its Pro-Am tournament where you've got amateurs and pro teams that are playing, and then the amateur teams who would be at like tier 2 Overwatch level would be able to get a spot into the playoffs and win money if they were able to beat one of the like established Overwatch League teams. It just so happened that none of them did. All 8 that are advancing in the Pro-Am playoffs are already the existing tier 1.
But yeah, so I think relegation would be really, really healthy. Yeah. It would push teams to create more content. If Riot were to also incentivize like a better incentive for the people that stay. Because right now,
content by like it wouldn't push them just more toward
like more like YouTube content, more TikTok, Instagram, just like more content for people to consume.
Chance of them like missing out.
No, all players have like contractual obligations right now. They spend like 15 hours a week shooting
how the
stuff.
relegation makes them do more content.
No, if Riot says, all right, we're going to cut the teams that don't do anything. If you're not doing content, you're not adding to the league's value.
Oh, not just
there are teams that just don't do anything. Yeah,
okay,
they don't.
So even if they
don't perform,
well,
they don't try to make competitive team, and they don't even make content. I mean, I'm pretty sure I forget the team. There was a team that sold their slut. They only had like 17,000 subscribers on YouTube.
But
like it's like what are they even doing? How are they even making? What are they there for?
Is the thought that we just only want to relegate the teams that aren't doing content and are performing poorly? And there are enough of those?
Typically, it's one and the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Very rare is it because if you have fans, they want to consume your content,
Right.
and most people are fans in esports of the winning teams.
Yes.
You know, unless you're a CLG fan, truly counter logic.
So the thought is they'll like put more. So this will just my last question. They'll just put more work into content if they end up winning more, and they'll end up winning more because they're getting relegated, or like if
they'll be motivated to do those things
rather
if there's
than
a chance
just
to
like
get motivated.
focus on winning more and putting content. To the
If
side.
Riot also incentivizes, Riot needs to incentivize them. I feel like to produce more content and to do things like that. In addition to also relegating teams that don't try to build competitive rosters.
Okay.
It should just, as an ecosystem, if you're all franchisees, you should want to grow the scene. And there's been many interviews with CEOs of these teams with players, and they just talk. They won't name names because but they're like, dude, only me, X, and Y are in that board meeting with like the 12 owners, and we're the only 3 people like trying to actually get some
Right.
like, and everyone else is just totally happy just sitting where things are because they don't want to invest.
Yeah.
Because all it does is lose money, and they also don't want to change anything either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only like 5 teams that are actually making money, like real money from the scene.
Yeah.
And I can tell you 2 of them is T1 because of Faker and their legacy, which is one and the same, and Team Liquid.
Okay. Yeah.
Team Liquid, but that's also because Steve Archnet is a Giga Chad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Cloud9 is also one of the teams that's also like in the green.
They might. Although, well, did you hear
But it's
about
crazy
the Yay
for-
thing? Like
The
the Yay in Cloud9. You're
Oh,
familiar?
Yay not being picked up by
Yeah.
anybody.
Okay. So this is
Is this a Valorant player?
yeah. So I'd be
Yeah.
interested. So
like
Yay.
arguably one of
the
the best.
Yeah, and like the
if not the
argument is
best.
easy to make. Like many people who have
Is he under
an
buyout?
outstanding.
Or is he a complete free agent?
He's free.
He's a free agent now
Yeah.
because this is what it was. So like Cloud9 was building up for the franchise model, right? And so they are picking up new players, and there's a lot of excitement. They get rid of some of the ones who like weren't performing as well. Like they got rid of Mitch, and Mitch is whatever. He's on some other team now. But like they kept Vanity, who was a great caller. They picked up Zelsis, who had been with version 1 and some other teams and like had a lot of charisma. And then they had like Leaf and Zeppa, who were still really good Cloud9 players. But there was this big question of, okay, now that Optic is done and Optic didn't get a spot and their team broke up, who is getting the
They're
best
out of
player
league,
in the
too.
world?
Optic pushed out of the league.
But like, who is getting Yay, the best player in the world by like most analysts' viewpoints?
Sure.
And C9 announced that there's going to be C9 Yay, and so all of a sudden there's all this hype of like, okay, this is where Yay is going. And within like 2 months, it was then announced that actually we are not able to, or because of role issues.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Yeah, because of role issues, we can no
I
longer
did hear about
keep
this.
these players, and so they get rid of Vanity, who had been one of the faces of C9, and they get rid of Yay, who had been like the hype beast, and they picked up 2 randos. The randos did perform well in the most recent game, but
Yay has an attitude problem, no?
no,
Not really,
No, he's
no.
like one of the nicest people.
Yeah,
period.
he's super genuine.
He's incredibly nice.
I
Everybody
heard
was good.
about that they're like, there was something where I forget what I was watching. Maybe it wasn't that he had an attitude problem. The rest of the team was the one to make that decision, though, I thought.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Am
about that.
I wrong there too? Man,
My guess is you're wrong.
I feel
but
like I
could be
watched
wrong that you're wrong.
a good 7-minute the Score Esports.
Oh, sure. Score
VOD
Esports
on it.
is a good one.
You should talk about stuff while I check it.
But anyways, yeah, I thought
Is that bad?
I thought it was like he wouldn't, essentially like he's like basically the best player in the world, but they already had all the positions done, and nobody's like, yeah, I'm just not giving up my spot to this guy. And
Kick that, and then kick the other one out.
Well, and
that's what I'm
the
saying.
thing.
That means no. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There was no GM there,
Yeah.
and so like maybe it wasn't that he had an attitude problem.
Well, they picked up a MCE, the
Well,
like
I
head
don't
coach
know
who
why
made the guard a thing.
None of
like
the Ascendant teams would pick him up, even just
Yeah.
to
Well,
try
it might have been too late to sign.
maybe. I don't know about
That's
the
happened to some
players.
good. I mean, dude, we've had like the best international North American player, Jensen, just not be signed before. Sneaky from Cloud9, who is the second best AD carry for a long time and also our best international AD carry, has still not been signed years later.
Yeah. And,
yeah.
I mean, this is a symptom
you just don't know what's
the
going
industry
on.
not being mature enough.
Well, you just don't know what's going on in the contract room, too. Like,
yeah.
Some players, they're like,
But
dude, I just want to play.
Would the best player in the NBA or the NFL ever not be signed? You know, after
Well, because the money's always there.
right.
The money's always there. I mean, in the NBA, you'll play on a shit team if you're going to make $70 million for a 2-year contract.
Yeah, true. But I mean, I can't imagine like any of the teams made an offer to Ye, he wouldn't, or he would have refused. You know what I mean? If they had,
a lot of the rosters were just.
I don't know. Some people are very
time.
protective over their legacies if they're going to be a long player.
Mm.
Like Faker has been offered blank checks.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, weird.
From like
Crazy.
2 Chinese teams and Team Liquid.
Wow.
Blank checks.
And he just needed to stay with T1, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever pick another team.
All right, I haven't.
So
I haven't.
I mean, you're never gonna find it.
Well, yeah,
The
there
internet
are
is too vast.
none of the thumbnails of the score videos suggest things like what you were saying, but that doesn't it doesn't happen.
I mean,
it's
just
as far as I know, it's still an open question why exactly.
right. It
He
doesn't
got
make
cut.
any sense.
Yeah, same with
typically,
Vanity,
I will
because-
say typically it's normally the player.
Well, so like why
Normally,
get
that I've
rid of
seen over the
Ye and
years.
Vanity?
Hey, I'm
Vanity
just
had
saying.
been-
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I'm just saying typically it's normally the player. It is either the player or the coach. And it is not like
Well, the fact that he
it is
didn't
not a
pick
money
him up
issue.
at all,
I'm just
though,
saying it is
that's
very
just weird.
rarely ever a money issue, actually, especially right now, because players. I have
He was
seen
the
so
most
many.
expensive player. in
I've seen
the team.
but only because his agents are going up there. But I've seen so many players talk about taking pay cuts for certain rosters because they just want to play with good players.
Yeah.
They'll take pay cuts for that all day.
Right.
Because if you're the best player on your team, you know what happens? You're assigned first.
Mm-hmm.
And then the team is built around you. But nobody wants to be the first one to sign because you don't know who else is going to be on your team. So unless you know you're like a top 5 player, you're more comfortable being signed first. And then everyone else around you, if there's no budget, they'll take a pay cut to play on your team. That happens all the time. All the time.
So like he was the last, and we'll stop speculating a second. He was the last one to get picked up.
Yeah, but there were discussions to pick him up probably well before all the official signings. Because they're like, hey, we're going to get Ye. We have all these other players. Like, you want to join? Yeah, okay.
Well, they already
certain
had
other
players signed.
The
That's
other
and
players,
that's- yeah,
were no
there are
names.
players sticking
like
to.
they were
Yeah.
absolutely like and
to no names to the pro team, but maybe not to him.
to Ye.
Yeah.
What? No, like they got picked up instead of Ye. I'm saying the
Oh,
names.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they replaced 2 of the people with like the 2 best known players on the team, and they put in people who had only ever played for tier 2 organizations.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's either the coach. The coach is like, I believe in these other prodigies. And I'm going to raise them up. Like how T1 does. They got 3 challenger players and built a team, and they went to Worlds the very first year, and they passed out on super high level talent.
crazy.
So the coach thinks that, or B, the players have issues that are not public.
yeah, and
Yeah,
he could have had beef with somebody on
who
the
knows?
team.
I'll punt and wait to find out a retrospective.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, I
But
won't. Oh, I, mean,
I
like,
find
there's
most
no
of the
limit.
time it's actually the players.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what
it makes
Because
sense.
most of the time the players are the most flexible decision and all of that, and they're the ones deciding if they're actually going to play on a team or not.
Yeah.
It's not typically like, oh, C9 just didn't want me. That doesn't happen very often.
Right.
Especially if you're saying he's as good as he is.
Yes, yeah.
It's typically the players
Yeah.
actually deciding.
He was my
I
favorite
just-
player to watch.
Just
last
none
season.
of the. I mean, maybe
Just think about it. If you're as good as you are, do you think you're the one? You think you're being asked to play on everyone else. You're not like, hey, I want to. You're not. You didn't make the. I want to see what all my offers from all these other teams are. It's like, no, dude, they're coming to me.
Well, I'll wait
So
and see then.
yeah, we'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, anyways, Faze Clan was never worth $400 million.
No, that was a cash grab.
Yeah, that was.
But
It's. I wonder if it's delisted.
no,
No, it's 30 days. 30 days. They get
Yeah.
30 days. If you're under $1 for 30 days, you're delisted.
yeah.
So
I mean, could be a great buy.
Yeah. Yeah, like who's gonna come and replace Snoop Dogg?
Right,
Yeah.
A better wrestler, John Cena.
I mean, you buy the rumors, sell the news. So everyone sold after Snoop Dogg's out, and now
buy the rumors, sell the news.
We got
like that.
Figure out, once you start hearing somebody's name, then you decide. If
we
you
should
want
just
to buy
call
it.
crypto buy the rumors, sell the news.
That's
just we just renamed it right here.
That's just what it is.
Patch Notes has that authority.
That existed from the stock market flow.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. We need to have like Sean's voice fed in post-op.
True.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else is on the menu?
Well, okay, so let's loop back to how esports can get better.
Yeah.
Okay.
By talking about how good CS2 looks, because
CS2, that volumetric smoke is.
yes.
Did you ever go, I don't like this, or did you just always liked it the whole time?
The volume
the
smoke.
Yeah.
Like
Just always good.
jizzed my pants when I saw it, and I just left it
amazing.
there because it's amazing.
I've seen some pros.
Yeah.
The problem is some
You changed
pros.
them?
No, they're still.
I find it so interesting how how I generally assume that your average esport pro is of higher IQ than myself.
Okay.
But man, when I watched everyone react to the smokes, they just had the most like freezer level takes. I'm just like, what is, dude? Everyone's like, oh my gosh, look, I can shoot through the side of the smoke and I can just shoot the enemy and they can see me and I can see them. Wow, that just breaks smokes. I'm thinking like, don't you understand that the smoke is trying it? Because like they didn't show videos of it shooting through the middle, right? So I think that they thought the whole they were using a term for what they were calling it, but the peepholes through the smoke, they're thinking it's going to also happen in the middle. I'm like, guys, think about how fog works, or just like smoke in general. Thick smoke, it doesn't matter. Thin smoke, it does. Ding.
Yeah.
And so like half the, I watched like a bunch of mashups because I love watching YouTube reaction to mashups, and half of them were like, oh, that's so garbage, it ruined the game. And the other half were like, wow, that's a really good change. Dude, I'm like, I can see the half. They're like, wow, I understand how it's going to work just by looking at using logic. And the other half were like, this sucks.
Oh my god!
But
those are people that just hate change and
Oh, that makes sense.
You're just never gonna satisfy them. Yeah. So, but I mean, it was definitely one of those things that I saw and was just like, whoa, why haven't smoked always been like this? You know what I mean? And obviously, there's graphical limitations to it, but it's just like logically, yes, this should have always been a thing. I mean, Minecraft, you can break and add blocks to it, and Fortnite you can break stuff. Battlefield's had destructible environments and all this kind of stuff. It's like the physics have been there for a while. Why haven't been implemented like this before? It is brilliant, and it's gonna change the way smokes work, because whoever now decides to be aggressive through the smokes does have a disadvantage now, rather than the flip side, where a lot of the times if you're aggressive in the smokes, generally it could be worked to your advantage, especially going through it. Right?
Well, and because not everyone saw the same smoke,
and that too,
because that was a huge issue with smokes, is that they were not even. Not everyone saw the same thing.
Right.
So now that everyone sees the same thing, it's huge.
Yes. And like you see, you even see this especially in like walls, like smoke walls in Valorant, where it's like if you're at the higher level, or even if your graphics are turned down, you can actually see through certain things that the other player can't see.
Yeah, I know there was a big issue with like Viper's wall not being like, you would see. So Viper's wall, the top of it has like a little wave pattern.
Yeah, but on low graphics it doesn't, or something.
Well, no, it's that like it
Lower
was
graphics,
like the wave wasn't set for both players, so they'd seem the same wave. Like you'd be seeing one wave, they'd be seeing another wave, and that might mean that like the one opper sees the other opper when he can't see.
And with higher graphics too, you get a little more dynamicness at the top too.
I see.
So like if you lower down your graphics, then there would be chunks that you could see through that somebody with higher graphics wouldn't.
Gotcha.
So that's a thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, they patched that.
Here's a crazy thought that I just had when you said like how to make esports healthier.
Okay.
It ties into the first part, which ties into the second. We can access them at any time from our homes.
Yeah.
Which I think is a big problem, because the working hours of a pro is just way too much.
Wait, sorry, it's a problem that we can access esports from our
Hang
house?
on.
Oh, sorry.
I think I'm about to get to why it could be a problem.
Okay.
But I think like pros playing 14 hours a day, or just the fact that like the Koreans, their culture is so, the esports culture over there is literally like play 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, don't stop every single day, one day off, I wish there was some way to enforce like an 8-hour limit for all players. I think that would be really healthy.
Like on accounts then? On an account
No,
basis?
because they'll get whatever. I don't know how I do it. I just wish there could be a way.
Yeah.
Because that would, I think, improve a lot of the health of all the players. If everyone was on the same time restriction, it would be fine.
Well, I mean, there's actually probably a diminish of returns
No.
on
Probably
extra
not.
time during a day.
I
You
don't
don't
think
think
so.
so?
You don't think the more tired you get, the harder?
I think
every minute.
I
Is
think it's
equally
pretty
valuable.
obvious that the teams that play the most, the players that play the most, are the best.
That doesn't mean there aren't diminishing returns. That can mean that like the team that plays 14 hours.
I don't
a
think
day,
it's a diminishing return when the results-based analysis means you always win and the opponent doesn't.
no, but like you can still have more returns, but the
Sure. Okay. Yes. In the scientific fact, yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
But my point is like, I wouldn't. It's hard to look at it as in, oh, it's diminishing returns when the difference is I'm always winning and you're always losing. It might just be that's the level you need to play at.
Could be.
Does that make sense? When
yeah,
say?
it's just
I know
we're just
it's,
saying
you were
what-
100% right in
Yeah.
every way, but I'm just saying like it's almost like that's a standard, not a diminishing return. You have to go that hard.
Are you thinking
to
that
even-
it wouldn't lower the ceiling of play, or you just think
It
like,
would be relative, so
be
therefore
relative.
it would be fine.
True. Yeah. If there
Um,
was a way to restrict
Because it's
it.
relative.
I mean, we could go full China and just be like, hey,
No. Well, anyways,
you can't play video
I'm just
games.
saying for the pro scene because like I think it's really unhealthy, and that's also why
Would
they
you,
burn
like-
themselves out.
would you-
can only physically practice so much
Would
in
you
a
cap
traditional sport.
the amount of time you can like watch game tape and talk about stuff? with
I
your
don't
teams?
know. I don't know. I'm not trying to get into it that deep. I wanted to go into the second.
I have an opinion.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's
wow.
up,
He's
Sean?
actually here.
Ooh, I got the
Freaking-
mic hooked back up.
Yeah, you are deep and booming and great.
All right. Oh, I've heard that before.
Dang.
Andrew's gonna
Uh,
really have to volume
G-rated
correct
podcast.
this.
Yeah,
You're pretty
All right,
loud,
there we
bro.
go. Back. So,
Oh, that's better.
let's go. I can't see
Uh,
myself anymore.
traditional sports.
Yeah.
They're able to practice or pour whatever they want into it too. Granted, they are doing it full time, so not every single one of them.
Yeah.
When you're pro level, that's your full time job.
Right.
Yeah.
They are able to do as much input as they want. Granted, there's more physical limitations because of your body,
Yeah.
but you still have a lot of the correlation between your body with esports because
100%.
that rest is important. But I'm just saying there are no artificial limitations there. They can train as much as they want.
Right.
Yes, theoretically you're correct. Well, anyways, this goes into my second thing here. What if a developer made a game that is only playable, an esport that is only playable at location?
How would you go about that?
How would you get a player
You just
base?
don't release it. You just don't release it online. You can only play it.
Hey, Aaron, we've got that conundrum before because of a VR arcade. How do we do VR esports?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, so
Well, maybe VR esports.
So,
is
like,
the
one-
No.
So one reason a lot of people get into esports is because they like watching something. They like watching other people play a thing that they
play.
also play.
Yeah.
I think if they just couldn't, unless they were also in the same place, there would be an
Oh,
incredible
I agree.
overview count.
I agree.
I mean, it could be
I
cool.
agree. It was the
if
same
we
thing
still
with like
want these
basketball.
people to move.
You had to go to a
move
court to play it, but there's basketball courts everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not all of the same quality. Like
No.
the one at
Yeah.
the park might be trash, but it's still.
But,
got a
like,
hoop.
We're hearing you a lot, Sean.
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way. Lots of rustling.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I like hearing.
Oh, that's loud.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we. hear you, but
Oh
the
yeah,
stream-
we hear you.
We're just.
yeah.
We're just
Okay,
there you go.
Okay. Yeah, that's sweet.
Anyways, no, it would be really interesting to create like a battle right level. That is really hard to concentrate. It would be interesting to create a game like Battle Right or something like that, like a simple 3v3 game that is only playable at location. And you just build communities around that, and that's like a thing.
Yeah, I just want.
And that's also how esports can make money because you have to come to play and practice on it.
Well, but you would only make it if enough people wanted to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
you'd have to make a compelling game.
Yeah.
How many seats would you build in at the front? Would you just like slowly make the arena larger as like you got a player base, or would you? Have
Yeah,
to
but I
invest
think I'd more focus on spreading it out, like you said. Like you'd want to have it like within like 30-minute drives of each other.
Well,
I mean, it's basically what like it's like cabinets. You're basically building.
I
a cabinet.
actually have had an idea for an esport. This is gonna
hit
go
me.
pretty in a direction I don't know if you want to go,
Drop the
but
knowledge.
because it would involve NFTs. But
is it play to win?
It wouldn't be play to win.
Okay.
So all the NFTs would be, they would be cosmetic based, but it was essentially the reason why I thought of it was because of the NFT space. I guess it could work without NFTs, but what I was thinking is that it would be an arena style game, but around the arena would be a real time social space. So you actually, when you log into the game, you're actually just you're your avatar, and your avatar would be loaded into a social space, and these social spaces would have digital market shops where you could buy digital assets for your characters, for your avatars. Okay. But then the arena part of it is actually you would be in a mech. And the mech would be the
that's funny that you say
esport.
mech, because that was the thing I was going to go to.
Yeah, and so the thing is that matches, like the whole thing would be in a real time, like digital world, right? Mm-hmm. So you could always log in to be into the social space, but the thing is the games that would be in the arena could be spectated in real time by the people that are in the social space.
And the client, yeah.
But the games would be scheduled. And so you would have to sign up for time slots.
Oh, sure.
Ahead
like a
of
queue.
time. Yes.
Like a pre-sign up queue. Yeah.
And so you wouldn't actually be able to rapid fire games after games.
You couldn't play. You could only play if the server let you play.
You could only play if the server let you play, and the server would only have so many slots.
Make some artificial scarcity, essentially.
Exactly. And that's
that's interesting.
The NFTs would also play a role into that, because then you could get tickets for games and all that kind of stuff.
Well, have you guys ever seen the Mech Warrior Online pods, like that you sit in?
I have now, yeah. After you turned me on to it, so
yeah. So, like, do you know what Mech Warrior is?
Gundams.
Kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, not as
it's
anime
like
though. Way more.
Less anime, not
way more Western. Yeah. So they would have these pods that you actually have to sit in to control your mech.
Yeah.
And so, like, having something like that as like an esport where it's like a 5v5, but like you have to use the pods. Yeah. Like you couldn't play this game from home.
Right.
Having something like that, I think that's something you can't get anywhere else, because you just don't have a $15,000 pod sitting in your house. Amazing spectation, because it's freaking mechs.
Right.
Like, how sick would that be, right? And then the players get that amazing experience of just like, they're a pilot. Like, this is my thing. This is my hobby, So
there would have to be. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, if you did build a team about it, they would have facilities for training. Right. You'd have to be a part of a professional team at that point, just like you would with regular sports.
Yeah, but you would have to go there. I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about money in esports, right?
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean. You probably get good enough.
You would drive money into that ecosystem, because it's just not something that they could free play at home.
Right.
So that, or we just start doing subscriptions for all esports games, which we should.
Sure.
That would actually solve everything.
Yeah.
You should write a letter to all the CEOs and tell them that.
If they all did it at the same time, they would all be the government would probably not be okay with that. Well, I don't know. Maybe they would, because they're actually all charging money as opposed to trying to undercut.
Yeah. I guess one concern would be that just all the gamers would start doing other things that aren't game. I mean, they're still probably going to game, but like, would they just be on TikTok more rather than playing games?
I mean, I just your main games right now are TFT and Overwatch.
My main game right now is Sleep. That's what I use my extra time.
Okay, but I'm saying if you play games, it's those two games.
Or Valorant. Yeah.
Or Val. Yeah, duh. What am I thinking? Yeah. Would you pay $10 a month to have access to them if it was taken away?
I don't know.
100% yes.
Yeah, you would at least subscribe to one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd subscribe to one of them.
I'm not saying you subscribe to all three.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
And it would probably change month to month, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you would have a publisher subscription where it's like, okay, you could either just
look
25
at
for all of Riot's
Pass.
stuff, but see, at the same point, the value proposition there now has to be totally different. Every skin has to be unlocked. Every single character has to be unlocked.
I don't agree.
Oh no. I don't think you
There's
can
no
have gamers give up.
then.
Write up a white paper.
Or you have to like play or like everything has to be free to unlock, just time based then.
Sure,
Halo
but
style.
You could pay
Halo
for
style.
it if you want to.
Yeah, maybe. No, I don't know. Because if you're already paying the monthly fee, I think you gotta.
I think gamers need to.
I don't
get away from everything can't be paid for, because
everything is paid for right now. What?
No. Because there are things that you can unlock with time. Like even with like Fortnite and Call of Duty, you can eventually like unlock your.
Oh yeah! All right.
You can.
That's a good joke.
White
I like
paper.
that. This
Wow.
is the white paper. Okay.
You owe me a drink, dude, for having to deal with that.
What? No, that's fun. I'll buy half the drink.
Is this a shit take?
Oh, it might be actually.
Here,
though.
but I'm not finished, so we can't wipe yet. All right.
Yeah.
So because
that was good.
I think that if I, as a professional, decide that I would rather spend more of my time outside of video games than inside of video games, that if some of this access energy that I've been storing, aka currency,
man, most of the internet just totally disagrees with this take.
I know, but this is my take, and I think I should be able to trade it in for time on games.
It's like how most of the gaming community disagrees
just,
with your subscription model, but it might be right.
But that's because majority of people, particularly in the gaming community,
I think it's a lot easier.
Would rather spend their time in games than outside of games.
I think it's a lot easier because we spend money on games somehow, some way. But I never look them as an investment of my time and trigger it to the dollars, whereas he does. He thinks if I play 2,000 hours in a game, I should be able to take some of that out. And to me,
I do know
that people, is just.
I mean, not for skill.
It's not infrequent to think,
not
okay, how much time am I
power.
spending on this, and like how much I could have done, like made.
But you're not motivated to do other things, so it doesn't matter. Having that thought line is just.
Well, no,
useless.
the thought line
I just
demotivates me to do the game if there are things like doing art or reading where I get something out of it.
assets.
You
in
read?
my game. But not for my skill. Like
I didn't know you could read.
That's funny.
I don't feel like the game should get easier because I paid more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, I know you're not arguing for that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think that my $3,000 League of Legends account, I should be able to recoup money out of that.
Well, if
Like, I
somebody
shouldn't-
wants
You just think
pieces
there's
out of
something
it.
purity related?
No. I just don't look at it like that. I don't just go, wow, I'm done with League, so I'm just going to sell this, and I should be able to get like 80% of the money. I don't think about it like that. I'm like, wow, this is what I paid to play the game
So
over
you think
the
other
last
people
decade.
shouldn't think about it like that either?
I think no. I'm telling you, most don't. Most people
Yeah.
100% disagree with what he's saying. They don't look at it like that.
Well, so like just because they don't look at it like that doesn't mean they wouldn't be psyched if it happened. I'm not saying it's a cool idea.
No one's ever going to turn down free money, but no one's asking for a way to get their money back either.
Yeah.
Because people just literally don't even look at it as wasting money. If I pay $60 for a brand new game, I play its campaign, I play a couple hundred hours of multiplayer, they're happy with the $60 they
Well, that's
spent.
because there's never been
They
enough.
don't think,
I'm not-
I'm done.
in
I
part
want
'cause
to
there's
get.
never been
And I
an
wasn't
opportunity to get money
necessarily
back.
talking about that in this aspect, but I do think that, right?
People did sell their physical game cartridges when they were done with
Right.
them.
Well, that's the thing. I
A
was
lot
a
of them.
huge game trader back when
Yeah,
it was possible,
Th-
right?
Yeah, and again, that's fine, but they didn't think of anything. They didn't think of it as anything inside the game. Whereas he's
Well,
more thinking
there was
inside
like
the game.
There was a
Well,
physical limitation
right.
of being able to
I
get
want to
any
own the
amount.
assets that I use in games.
Yeah, that weren't made by you.
Yes, because I bought them.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if somebody else wants them and they're no
It's
longer
just kinda
available,
weird. It's just kinda
this
weird.
is the argument though. If they're no longer available,
Well, then if there's no scarcity, then you never wanted it in the first place.
exactly, which is why cosmetics
So-
available for everybody under a subscription doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it.
That's I can be okay with that, I guess,
Yeah.
like to a certain extent. But again, like you wouldn't even want these things if there was no scarcity.
Right.
You wouldn't even have the thought.
Right.
So therefore, it has to exist.
But it should have value.
Well, like
man.
what about the place?
the only reason it
does?
has value is because it is scarce.
Well, so
But allow me to offload that to somebody who also feels like it's valuable.
Like, what about these location-based models that you had where people only want to go because they have to go somewhere?
Yeah, there's artificial scarcity there.
Yeah. Is that a problem in that case? Or is that not
No, I'm saying it's healthier for the esports. Not that you can't view it as
scarcity, unfortunately, is only available in the digital world, though. It's not
in the physical world, you can just say we just don't have the capital to build a ton of these.
Or even the materials.
Oh, there's so many different reasons there. Yeah. But in the electronic world, it's just all about like, okay, how can I provide value? And most value is provided through scarcity.
Right, because that's all we've known.
Not through like imagine if Riot even had like an advanced training dummy that you could just pay to access in the game, like a multiplayer, because their main thing, we don't want to have servers for that. So we're just not going to have it. It's like, okay.
When it would be available on the
Or imagine if we had like a super strict ranked thing that you had to buy into. Like
I don't mind that.
ESLA or whatever it is. ESL? ESL. For CS. Yeah. You have to pay to play on that server.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do because it is heavily moderated.
Right.
And just these types of options instead of because artificial scarcity is so easy for the dev.
It is.
It's the least path of resistance, and it's also why everything's free because you get as many people in there to trigger a FOMO experience, which is what VOW is every time you log in.
Yeah.
So,
that going.
Ruined the whole world.
I think it ruined a lot of. I think it's hurt a lot of esports because now all markets are saturated. I mean. You've heard about Rocket League. If you were going to play it, you would have played it by now,
But doing that, although it would fix or it would help a lot of players that are serious about esports, it wouldn't necessarily strengthen the organizations around the esport. The way I feel like
it's guaranteed revenue, right? I mean, it's totally different
for the devs, though, not the organization.
I know. Well, that's the thing.
That's why these
orgs need to have better.
In.
They need to have better incentives for them to even be in the LCS, to be in League. Like, what is Cloud9's reason to even be there? Because if they're barely making any money, why are they even around? Why are they paying all this operating
That's why I'm
costs?
saying we need new esports, and this is the reason why.
But how are you manage them any differently than all the ones that are managed now?
Because you set up in the system a way for organizations to become a part of the game.
Like franchising them into the game itself?
Yes. And then they get
that was
of the pie.
That was like an interesting thing to do. Like if you make a game and you put factions inside of it and name the factions. And so then it's kind of like WoW.
Yeah.
You had the Alliance or
right.
What's it?
They have
the Horde?
Yeah.
So it's like why, I'm sure there were Horde and Alliance jerseys or shirts out there. I've seen them before, actually, so I know.
Well, and allow a system that, allows you to promote and demote, like you're saying. And because, let's face it, with patch updates, you can modify these games however you want. They can be living live service games.
They won't allow that. That's another thing.
But a new esport could.
Oh, you're saying if a dev actually gave up control.
And not necessarily gave up control, but allowed systems for it to be organizations, if they're forming, they have talent, they're winning tournaments, they can apply to be a faction in the game or an organization that's in the game. And now fans that are buying the merchandise inside the game are proving that this is the organization that's bringing me into this ecosystem. And so you're going to get a pie of that, like an affiliate. But it's all inside of the actual digital space.
Yeah, but imagine if you could do all that and sign a contract and it was based on monthly subscriptions as opposed to the him and haws of how well a skin line does.
Yeah.
So everyone always jokes if they release Pool Party Ari, that's when they're paying off their lawsuit because that's
everyone would buy it.
Well, that skin's when that skin comes out no one. I don't think anyone ever has an official source on how much any skins have ever made at Riot, but their most I think some person said on Reddit and it had a couple thousand upvotes, and then someone else is I can kind of see that this is true because they were going off how many skins they've seen this skin do, and then how many skins they've seen of a team skin, and they knew how much money they made off the team skin. And it's estimated that one of the skins in the game has made $100 million.
That's pretty dope. Is it a Pool Party one?
It's the it's one of the love skins for Lux.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Lux is the most bought skin in the game.
Well, and imagine
all of her skins. But it's like one of them is made like $100 million.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's
just
the thing.
one skin.
And that's the thing. It's like cosmetics in games make money. No one's denying
I'm sure Lux herself is probably worth $500 million.
Sure.
Just in skin lines.
Yeah.
Like,
so
for the whole world, must be
imagine an organization gets approved through whether it's either grit or money to get into a game, right? And now instead of just having these silly generic team skins, that those teams themselves could design digital assets and sell them in a marketplace on their own
imagine
design.
if you could sell your own team skin.
Right.
Yeah,
so now,
that would be huge.
Team organizations are even buying digital 3D asset creators for their team because they know, well, they could sell certain merchandise in the game to get even more revenue.
Now the dev is not, the dev has to work in where they don't feel like, I mean, it's so good because they're offloading all the
Look at Steam, 30% of all games sold, and they're doing pretty fine.
Yeah.
So if you get a game where everyone wants to play it and everyone's watching the esport, and the devs only get 30% of an asset that a team builds.
So are we gonna build some Mech Warrior pods?
I guess we're building.
I mean,
an esport game.
if they don't look anything like anime, I'm just not interested.
I mean,
they definitely they look very.
I think that's going to be a really cool
they're heavily
war
focused,
you two to do,
all
and
dark.
for me to maybe see something.
And so the mech game that I was envisioning that I would love in a dream to make or whatever, where it has the social aspect to it and stuff, is like
custom Robo for the GameCube.
Pretty much.
Do you know that game?
Yes.
Holy crap! So good.
It would be.
Imagine it has more depth. That game would be so good even today.
Yeah, and think of that as like a 3v3 like esport title. Where it's like you can earn the different like weapons and gear and stuff to change your mobility and all that kind of stuff. But all of that is you can get
great game.
You can get by leveling right in the game and getting, so eventually you'd have a full kit.
Make sure you hit the one on GameCube because there's a couple custom robos.
But then each one of those pieces could be designed by designers.
Be
they
all
sold
do
as a
they're
cosmetic.
functionally the same, but
Yes. And then the organizations could sell those pieces.
Yeah, can you imagine that Diablo 4? Now the gear is the same, but it looks different depending on which region you got it from, and everyone's, wow, that's so cool. I'm just like, wait, this wasn't a feature in 3?
Yeah.
How? What?
No.
It's like, oh, this staff is made out of bamboo here, like an oak here, and like a hickory here. It's because it's from different temperate zones or whatever. I'm just like, and they're like, wow, that's really cool. I'm just like, how is this never a thing?
Nobody thought of it.
I guess not.
Nope.
So it just goes to show out how much more innovation we have left to go in our games too.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's true.
Alrighty. My last little thing is another part of game design type thing is I've also wanted a game where people had wildly different jobs in the game,
like Final Fantasy 14.
Is that TBS?
What do you mean TBS?
Turn-based strategy?
No, it's real time.
Oh, I just think it'd be really cool if somehow someone were to make a game that was like rhythm-based, FPS, RTS, and something else, but they'd all work together. So like there was a reason you had to do what you had to do.
What if one character takes a lot of the damage, one character heals a lot of the damage, and another character dishes out a lot, and it's called Overwatch 2, and we all played it more often.
See, but that's all in FPS. So it's like there is this game.
I like that idea.
There is this game that's kind of that, but on a super light version of like these flying ships. They're ships that fly in the sky.
Okay.
Where they have sails and everything. One person's the captain, the other one's a gunner. One's an engineer.
Oh, is that Love Hearts game?
I don't remember, but it's super sick, and they all have different jobs, and they're all equally compelling.
Yeah.
Now
it's
all
like
from
a circular ship, right?
Kind of. Yeah. It's like steampunky almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the
Maybe
game I'm talking about.
thinking about.
But anyways, that's still all in one genre of FPS. Like I would love to see one where it's like one person has a completely isometric view, the other person is not even like in a FPS style, but they're like doing like, some sort of rhythm game.
Sure.
And like other players in the enemy team So like the FPS player can mess with the enemy rhythm player in a way. So like maybe the targets that they're shooting.
That'd be super hard to balance.
No, like
I agree. But I'm saying like something really unique, So it's like, what do you do? What do you do in the game? Yeah, I'm a rhythm guy, or I'm an FPS guy.
I like that. Yeah, I like games with roles.
I'm the RTS.
I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
One could be even FGC guy.
And then also like how they balance. It's like the rhythm guy, if they do their rhythm but also hit certain chords, they're healing. They're giving a bonus to the FPS guy.
Oh,
on
like
their
Lucio
team.
because he has music.
But he's not rhythm based.
Yeah. So, anyways, I've always thought that would be really cool. I have no idea like what it would be, but it would be kind of neat. But anyways, all right,
viewers,
it's been it's been an hour and 12 minutes. I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think I'm done too.
I think.
Esports winter is kind of chilly. I gotta go bundle up.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm ready for the summer though.
Me too.
Esports
have
summer
some good
or
stuff.
just summer?
Just summer. I think Sean and I are meeting next week, and we're gonna have go over some big plans and direction for the arcade, which we'll loop back with you guys on, let you know what we kind of decide. But I'm hoping, summer is harder to do like regular events in, but I'm hoping to do some
big lands
with just more like mid-level stuff here. Like a couple retakes, a couple of realm warps.
That'd be cool.
Kind of pause our weekly or stuff and do some of those, and then launch the rest of the picker game formats.
That's cool.
So get TFT
Let's
and
get
Rocket League
CS2 going if that comes out soon enough.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to support 2 tack shooters, but we'll see.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Sorry we missed you last 2 weeks ago.
Sorry,
but
not sorry. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
True.
Yeah.
And Yell's heart's throbbing right now. I just know it.
Right.
Big throbs.
All right. We'll see you.